sign. And there are my two solutions. Hey, they're not pretty, ladies and gentlemen. Only a mother could love those answers right there. But they're the answers. And that's how you're going to put them in.
And you can't subtract the 2 from the -3 because it's attached to the radical.
Exactly. Because it's 2 square root of 5s. Hey, that's a good instance in which you might want to use the completing the square method. Why? Doesn't factor. Can't use the square root property. And 1 in front of the x squared and an even coefficient of x. Might be a good choice. All right. Which brings us to our final method. Ladies, right, please. All right, hypothetically, you're working your test. You turn to problem number 14 and it says solve this quadratic equation. You go, does it factor? I don't think so. Is it something squared equals a number? No. Does it have a 1 in front of the x squared and an even coefficient of x? Probably don't want to complete the square. So I am now to my final option. By the way, a lot of people just use this method, period. I mean, even if it factors, even if it's something squared equals a number, you can always just use this method. This is the other method that always works. All right, you are familiar. In fact, I think we talked about it when we talked about the tic-tac-toe method, the A, B, and C, right? You're familiar with the fact that when a quadratic is put in standard form, x squared, x's, numbers equals 0. If that number right there is A, that number right there is B. Don't forget the signs. That number right there is C. Remember that? Okay. So we will write down, just as we did in the tic-tac-toe, A is 2, B is -5, C is 5. Are we okay with A, B, and C? Because the formula is chock full of them. It says x equals, somebody start me out here.
-b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. 2a.
That's it. And that you should either memorize, put on your 3x5 card, or tattoo to your wrist. Because you will definitely need to know that. And by the way, if anybody does invest in a tattoo on the wrist, I will let you use it on the test. You may still use your 3x5 card in addition to that. And so what this means is I just got to fill in stuff. I just got to fill in spaces. Here we go. This says the opposite of B. What do I put here? Yeah, because b is already negative 5. This says the opposite of b, or negative 5. That means 5. B squared is going to be 25 minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Everybody see how to substitute that? Plug in your numbers A, B, and C. And I highly suggest you write them down because you're not substituting them in order. Starts off with B. Better have it written down somewhere. All right, here we go. A little simplification. Hey, did you notice every time I use the quadratic formula, I got a radical expression? So get used to simplifying radical expressions again. It's 25. Oh, dead. All right, threw myself into the next section without even trying. All right, new problem. Did y'all see what the problem was going to be?
Yeah.
I was going to get a, what kind of number on the radical? Negative, which is the stuff we had to cover today. Yes, ma'am. Where'd the formula come from? I made it up. No, actually, I think your book may even have a derivation of the formula. Solving for x, when you have ax squared plus bx plus c, it's a really long problem, and it's not real necessary that we solve it. But if you solve that for x, you would get that expression every single time. So, sorry about that. Let's work one that we already know is going to come out that way. Let's see, how about this guy? Let me check before I do that. All right, let's do this guy. So x is going to be opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared. All right, here we go. Opposite of b, it's negative 8. B squared, that's 64. Minus 4 times a times c. All over 2 times a. That one going to be okay? I think so. All right, so I get negative 8 plus or minus 64 minus what? 56. Okay. Negative 8 plus or minus square root of 8 over 2. Hey, can I just go ahead and divide 2 into those 8s? Is that all right? Why not? Yeah, that's not an 8, is it? It's a square root of it. Okay, so don't be real careful there. Make sure you simplify just real numbers with real numbers. So I get. Is square root of 8 simplified?
No.
Okay. Square root of 8. Right? 1 and 2's out. 2 square root of 2. Notice every time you use the quadratic formula, you're going to have to do simplification of radicals, unless it happens to turn out to be a square root of 36 or something.